Human design bypasses the mind. It goes straight to the energetic blueprint that's coded in your DNA that happened as subatomic particles moved through your body at birth and literally imprinted your DNA. It's that map that's going to lead you back to the treasure that lives within you, that most authentic version of you. It's where we start to learn that our purpose is just being ourselves.
Emma Dunwoody is a master coach, behavioral specialist, and host of the Human Design podcast. How does human design go deep into the psyche of us with essentially the core goal of knowing us more?
It's putting you as the individual in the guru seat. It's taking back your power. We think we know who we're meant to be and what we're meant to do, and we really don't. We can't see that big picture. When you come to this work, you learn to tap into the body, but you're constantly told in every moment you are directed to what is correct for you and what isn't. When you see these people that are really acing it in life, it's because they're not trying to be something they're not. And that's ultimately what human design is all about.
How does human design help people truly transform, not just from a mind level, but from an epigenetic expression level? You said human design is not a label. It's a rebellion against the systems that gaslit you into thinking you were too much, too emotional, too chaotic, too inconsistent. Why is human design a rebellion?
Because it's the ultimate permission slip to be you. And the rebellion is to basically give the middle finger to everyone who has either conditioned you or told you you need to be different than you are. So the ultimate rebellion is being yourself and courageously choosing not to fit in or choosing not to follow the path you think you should follow, the rebellion is authenticity.
Oh, and actually I love that you said that. I heard recently that the Hawkins scale, are you familiar with the Hawkins scale?
Yes, very.
That authenticity resonates from 700 to 1,000, just like ultimate love or transcendence or nirvana. So actually, we're all here to learn how to unconditionally love ourselves and others, but really, you said authenticity. I feel like the ultimate frequency is authenticity. So how does human design get us closer to our authentic self?
Yeah. So my background is as a coach, and I used all of these behavioral or personality tools. So the Enneagram's really big right now, Myers-Briggs, disc profiling. And whenever we look at ourselves through the frame of these things, what we're doing is we're answering questions with the mind. And the mind says, this is who I think I am. Not this is really who I am in my heart. This is who I think I am. Now, if you have a really good facilitator, then you're going to get pretty accurate results. But the difference is that human design bypasses the mind. It goes straight to the energetic blueprint that's coded in your DNA that happened as subatomic particles moved through your body at birth, these little neutrinos, and literally imprinted your DNA. And this is that blueprint that then informs the behavior, the conditioning, the fears, the joy, the authenticity. And ultimately, human design is that map. In fact, it's that map that's going to lead you back to the treasure that lives within you, that most authentic version of you.
I love that you said neutrinos. I heard about neutrinos in nutrition science. Can you remind us what they are, the neutrino?
Yeah, so I'm not an expert in neutrinos, but what they are these really, really tiny particles, like super, super, super tiny. And they're always moving through everything throughout the universe. But what happens is as they move through things, they pick up a little piece of the thing that they move through. And then when they move through us, they'll drop it off. So the way that we work with them, with human design and astrology, is that it's like they're moving through the planets, so Pluto, or they're moving through Venus. And at that moment that this is all happening, it's literally imprinting you at the same time as they're moving, because they're moving through you as they're moving through them. And it's like this is literally a snapshot of the universe at this moment as per this subatomic particle. And of course, there's loads of them moving through you. And that's what really imprints you in that moment of birth.
It almost sounds like a cosmic imprint, if you will.
It is.
You push a mattress and your hand gets the imprint in it.
Yeah.
So if we were a mattress and the universe brought down this coding, that would essentially be the imprint that someone very, very famous, who you mentioned in your book, figured out. His name was Alan Robert Krakowi. I believe I said that right. Also known as Ra-Uru-Hu.
Mm-hmm.
And he had a voice come to him in 1987. This is where human design came from. And he said, this is going to be the foundation of the human design system, which you now call human design transformation, which I love because I think we're here to transform. I really do. But it integrates the different pieces of the I Ching, the Kabbalah, the chakra system, and really how we make decisions and how we do what we're destined to do, how we be what we're destined to be here on planet Earth. Did that story fascinate you?
Yeah,
Of how
it
it actually was
fascinated me.
formed?
I think at first I was the biggest cynic ever. I'm like, all right.
Me too.
So some burnt out ad executive finds himself in Ibiza of all places doing God knows what. And all of a sudden he's struck down by this voice that tells him all of this information. So I think in the beginning I was a bit like, yeah, sure. But then when you actually hear the story, when he talks, he's gone now, but the way he talks about this experience, this isn't something he enjoyed. He did not enjoy it at all. And he was told, you sit down, you write this because this is for the children of the new generation. This is the thing that's really going to change the world. And what he actually did over 8 days, he downloaded Human Design. And what it did is mathematically map together Western astrology, the Kabbalah tree of life, the Hindu chakra system, and the Chinese I Ching, and literally mathematically mapped all of those together. So once I actually got my head around that, I'm like, dude, there is no way a human brain could have done that in 8 days. All right, I'm listening.
Yeah.
And
we didn't have ChatGPT back then.
No, exactly.
We didn't have the internet when he made that.
Nah.
So none of this was cheating.
Nah,
It was actually
exactly.
a true divine download.
And the beautiful thing was that also, to me, really made it sound authentic as well, is the whole preface was this is an experiment. This isn't about, this is a new dogma that you need to live by. This is an experiment. So take this information, go and live it. And if your life gets better, brilliant, keep running it. If it doesn't, then let it go. So again, for me, that's where my cynicism went, well, okay, because anything that is pure has no attachment, right? It's like, I don't care what you do with the information. I'm just giving you the information. Hopefully you'll raise your consciousness with it. But if you don't, that's on you, not on me. So I think even the messages that came through the voice, because Ra himself, he's a very controversial figure anyway, but the voice was very, the things that it said, that seemed really like high consciousness.
Yes. Transformation is not something that is, let's be honest, it's not sexy. It's not fun.
God, no.
Especially what you've been through, which I know is laced and weaved into the tapestry of your book. And even how you were labeled, which we'll talk about, and how you peeled off the label and you're like, well, this isn't true. You did that part and parcel of your own discovery of design. But I find this word transformation to be really, really overused and really undervalued.
Yeah.
And I wonder how you feel about this. It's almost like the analogy we've heard so much where the caterpillar goes in the chrysalis and literally liquefies and goes through metamorphosis and then comes out a butterfly. That's not a painless process, y'all. That's a really shitty feeling process. How does human design and the different aspects of human design help people truly transform, not just from a mind level, but from an epigenetic expression level?
I love that. And I think the biggest piece is the fact that it's a permission slip itself. So I have now read thousands of charts. I've sat with thousands of people and I never hear, oh, that's a surprise. I always hear, wow, you just gave me permission to be me. Now, where the change is, and you're absolutely right, transformation is not something easy. Like I have dragged myself along the ground through the mud. I've been deeply depressed, had panic disorder, considered taking my own life for many, many years, told I'd have to live with it for the rest of my life. Now I look back at it and go, and even my design helps me see, oh, wow, it's actually why I'm on the planet. So as much as that sucked for me, there was an important lesson I needed to learn. Like what person in that state sits in front of the leading expert in mental health of the time that gives them a diagnosis that says, hey, you will never recover from this. You'll just learn to manage it. And then some part of me goes, yeah, I don't believe that. And that's what transformation's about. Like when you have the courage to actually go, oh, what's coming out of your mouth and what I feel in my body, that doesn't match. You can feel the incongruence. So the way human design can really help us, and I didn't have human design back then, but when you really work with your design, and I bring in the gene keys as well, then you're going to see all the good stuff and you're also going to see all the challenging stuff. You're going to see the stuff. I'm currently going through, at the back end of my Chiron return, which is this time in your life where you heal your childhood wound and then it becomes, the next thing that you teach. It's the thing that you give to the world. And so I'm literally healing trauma from my mom right now. My mother was a narcissist. It was, and I'm going through this process. And my design, I can literally go to parts of my design and go, oh my God, there's the shadow of that gate. That's absolutely that's what this is all about. And I can own that, And I think that's so many of us in the transformational state, we learn these things about ourselves, but we don't do anything about it. It's actually the thing that I kind of have an irritation about with plant medicine. Like, I think the stuff's bloody awesome, but at the same breath, how many people do it and then they don't integrate? Mm-hmm. They get this freaking lesson, but they don't do anything with it.
Yeah.
So I think with human design, it's that you can constantly look at this map of yourself. And I've personally had this experience. A lot of my community have this experience where you'll be drawn to something very specific in your design and you just work with that, whatever it is, whatever gate it is, what it means about you, because everything has a different theme. And then, it could even be 2 years later, all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, I didn't even know I had that in my design. And all of a sudden you're going into that. So there is this almost, and again, I love to keep things really practical, down to earth and simple because I want it to be taken up by so many people. But there is a very mystical part of the design as well where, I remember a friend of mine was talking all about having the gate 53 and I'm listening to this thing and I'm like, God, I wish I had that. And I looked at my chart and I'm like, oh my God, I have that. I hadn't even noticed it. But it's because my psyche, my subconscious mind, it wasn't ready for that. It wasn't ready for that thing to be the next thing I'm working on.
Yeah.
So it's also got this, as much as it's very masculine structure, it's going to give you the container for you to really kind of relax into your authenticity. It also has this beautiful sort of mysticism about it because it's going to guide you as well.
You're at the perfect table. I love that we have mystery and spirit right here and we have science right here. They're with us, so they're both welcome. You said that part of human design is really the science of differentiation. And I love that because we are literally one and the same. Whether you believe in God or you believe in higher power, we are created. Therefore, something or no thing created us. So regardless of your religious pursuits or your proclivities about spirituality, that's where my question is coming from. If we are all one and the same and we come from the same source, we come from the same creator, the same magic, then how does the lens of human design show us differentiation, really? Simply.
I love this. So simply, when you actually look at your chart, there's over 2 billion expressions of a chart. So
that's it?
Already we have huge differentiation, right? Yeah. So it's massively different from person to person. But it's also kind of showing us that our purpose is bigger than the job that we do. Our purpose is our energy. There's a part of the design called your incarnation cross, and Ra called it the job description of your aura. And the really cool thing is you actually don't have to do anything about it. As you raise your consciousness and you're expressing the higher expressions of your cross, it's going to be more powerful. It's going to be having more of an impact. Wonderful. But you don't have to do anything. You don't have to actually think, oh, I need to build my business around this, even though we actually teach a lot of business and we do work with the cross. But there's actually nothing you need to do. And my favorite example of this is, this has been happening for me recently as well, so I might come back to it, but my favorite example of this is when my first son was born, I was deep in mental health challenges, right? And his incarnation cross is the cross of the sleeping phoenix. Now, the cross of the sleeping phoenix is actually, we're about to go into it in 2027. It'll be our governing, like our background frequency. And the sleeping phoenix is all about helping people rise from the ashes. This kid is born and all of a sudden my mental health is healing. Now, you could say, of course it is because you've got a baby, you've got something else. No, his energy came in and it catalyzed because my aura knew what it needed. So between us, these two entities have gone, okay, well, I'm going to be bored at this time and it's going to help you do this. He didn't do anything. He was just being Cooper. Then my second son, when he was born, I remember being pregnant with him and I'm sitting in a brainstorming session and we're trying to make Nutella look healthy, and I'm like, oh God, I got to get out of this. This is like.
You knew Nutella wasn't healthy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, yeah, I'm out. Like I can't do this. So I'm, like 6 months pregnant with this baby. I know I'm not going to go back to the advertising industry, but I'm like, what the hell do I do with myself?
Yeah.
And yet clearly I'm about to have a baby, but I'm like, well, we need the money. And 3 months after he was born, I start my first business. It was a nanny agency. Sure enough, his incarnation cross is called the cross of the Sphinx, which is all about changing direction. So this baby's born. I don't know what I'm doing before he's born. The moment he's born, I'm like, okay, I know I need to start a business. So it's this energy. It's where we start to learn that our purpose is just being ourselves. And when we are ourselves, we're already doing the work.
So are we born with purpose, or do we design the purpose?
I love this question because purpose is one of my favorite things. I think one of my earliest memories is purpose. It's like, what is my purpose? Why am I here? I know I need to make the world a better place. And my design, I have a thing called an open G center. So because of that, it means that I'm constantly like, is it this? Is it this? Is it this? Whereas someone with a defined G center is like, I know where I'm going. I've got this. So from my perspective, what purpose actually is yes, it's the things that we're going to do in the world, but our greater purpose is to be ourselves. Because we are being arrogant and cocky if we think that we are creating all of this, like, yes, we are creators, but we are playing our part. We are a puzzle piece that's designed to fit with all these other puzzle pieces. So our purpose is to be, in my opinion, to be the best version of that. Now, I'm a manifesting generator, so are you. So we're here to work. Like, we're on the planet to build. We're here to build the new world. All we got to do is be inspired and respond to something and go and build whatever that thing is. So I'm not saying that your work isn't your purpose, because yes, it is. But really, in my opinion, our greatest purpose is just to be our most authentic self, because then we are fulfilling the puzzle piece we need to fulfill to move to this new world.
I was speaking of plant medicine, because I agree with you, it's not the panacea. It's not the golden ticket's going to heal every aspect of your life. I was in a journey in Costa Rica, and the sun was coming up, and I had just drank way too much plant medicine. And we were all sharing in the circle, and I just spoke to everyone. I said, I feel like I've been pretending to be me my entire life.
Yeah.
I feel like I've just been pretending based on conditioning to be this version of Josh that will be accepted and loved by everyone else. And it was like I popped a balloon in my solar plexus, and I did the biggest, deepest exhale. And it was like, wow, I really touched the peace of God for a second.
Yeah.
So I think plant medicine gives us access to what the real peacefulness or the authentic vibration that Hawkins was talking about that's possible. Yet the sustainability of that is different, because we can know something or touch something briefly. But then even Michael Beckwith talked about this when he was on Oprah once. He was like, you can get a bunch of wealth or, have the relationship, you can get the thing. But if your frequency of your being, of your authenticity doesn't match it, you'll lose it.
Yep.
It'll just be lost.
It can't stay.
And the hair on my arm stands up on that, because I've lost things many times that I wasn't ready to hold yet. And when I finally got to this place where I can hold you in this conversation and this curiosity and really this possibility of how we can just be more playful and rise up the frequency scale, what comes up for you with the plant medicine conversation in human design?
Well, like, I honestly, and before I go there, and I'll go there, I have to respond, because again,
Please.
I say this all the time, you're speaking your design. So you're a line 3. So line 3s.
It's on the screen right now, y'all. We're putting it on the screen for Spotify and
Great.
YouTube.
Awesome.
So my human design is right here on the screen as she's talking.
So what is cool, and we have a very similar profile. So we're both a 3-5 profile. And I'm hearing you talk about like, wow, like I've had to run through the burning forest a bunch of times. Like I keep falling down. That's what we do. That's what line 3s do. Line 3s are designed to do that. It's actually one of the things that when I first read it, I was like, okay, I'm out. I am not interested in human design. I do not want to be told this is the rest of my life. I want to fix this. And then now I know I can't fix it. I am the great experimenter. And when you start to learn the magic of it, because we're also the great adventurers. We're the ones that we're not going to live this bloody ordinary, boring life.
Never.
We want to have adventure and excitement. And we make a mess. And the thing is, we are the people that make everyone else feel so comfortable, because they come to us to say, what did you do? Is this true? Because we're the first ones to go, that shit is not true. This will not work. Don't do that, as much as this one will work. And it can be super practical. Like all my friends, if they're going to buy a product, they're like, what did you do? What did you buy? Because they know I've bought 6 different versions of it, tested them all out, and I know which one works.
Yeah.
But also, you're an MG, you're a manifesting generator, you're an emotional authority. You could not be more distant from a linear being than anyone else on the planet. I'm also an MG and an emotional one, an emotional authority. So what does that mean? That means that we go over here, over there, we're up, we're down, we're all roundabout, and we live in a world where everyone says, pull yourself together. I'm not designed to pull myself together. I'm designed to be too much one moment and not enough the next. And in the, when we don't make too much and not enough a good or bad thing or a good thing or a bad thing. Like I'm designed to be this way. I'm designed to be here with you and be super enthusiastic and super excited. Why? Because literally my motor, my sacral energy is switched on. I'm in alignment. I'm doing the things that I'm called to do. And then I can guarantee you when I go home, I'm going to sit in a corner like the little introvert that I am. I'm probably going to have a cup of tea, maybe go for a swim and do nothing because I've learned to work with this energy. So the beauty of really like hearing you speak, giving yourself full permission to be the one like, hey, I'm going to be that one that's over here blowing shit up. But everyone's going to come to you to know, okay, what did you learn from the experiment?
Yeah.
Because you make other people feel safe. And being that 5, so the 3 is the first number.
And these are gates or aspects? What
These
are these exactly?
This is called your profile. So they're 2 numbers. We all have the 2 numbers in our profile, right? And yours is the 3, 5. And when the small number comes first, so you're a personal profile. So this is also one of the challenges we have because you've got a line 5. The line 5 wants to universalize. It wants to help the world. But we're actually personal profiles. So where we trip ourselves up, and I've definitely been like this in my business, and I'd be curious to know if it's happened for you too, is that we get to a place where we have a certain level of community or influence and we feel this huge responsibility to that. And all of a sudden, we're not focusing on our bumpy ride. We're focusing out there. What do they need? How can I serve? And everything goes off the rails. And we're like, what the fuck's going on? I don't understand this. But it's because our journey is actually about us. Your business is about you. So when you focus on your journey and whatever's going on for you, whatever you're experiencing, then you come to a point where your inner authority, your emotional authority gets clarity, your sacral goes go, and you're like, right, now it's time to share it with everybody else. So, I
feel like you're inside my heart and mind at the same time. This happened just 2 weeks ago. Exactly what you're describing.
Yeah. And this is the thing, like as entrepreneurs, right? When we get to a certain level, we want to serve and serve and serve, but it all kind of feels a bit ick or we don't have energy for it. So human design, again, is all about what do we have energy for as manifesting generators, right? And it is not, it's counterintuitive for us to go, oh, back to me. It's counterintuitive. We want to be like, how can I help?
Yeah.
But the whole point is we have to come back to our journey because our journey, let's go back to purpose, our journey is what we give.
That's right.
Right?
Yes.
Super important. So plant medicine, human design. I think one of the things that's really beautiful in how the two of these things can work together is that for all the experiences that I have had and heard, so often the message is something that's really core in your design already. So you're going to be working with something that it's already there. It's there and it's a way that it's talking to you. Maybe it's your, let's say your core wound. So your core wound, and this comes from I'm pulling this from the Gene Keys. Your core wound is the gate 64 from memory. And this is the shadow of confusion, right? This is this energy. It's like when you're in your shadow, and this is a wound that you brought in and there's going to be a peppering of it in everything that you do. Now, this core wound, when you're still in the wound, you're in confusion and you're trying to make sense. Like, I got to make sense of this confusion. I got to make sense of this confusion. Like, how does this work? How do these things fit together? And that's actually the polar opposite of what you want to be doing. Because the 64 is basically the ultimate funnel from the universe. It is this gate that basically funnels in all information from the universe. It's also been associated with dyslexia. Because so much information comes in, it's like, I can't process all this at once. And what the 64 actually teaches us is we want to move to imagination, which is the gift, the gene key gift of 64. So your core talent becomes this ability to sit in confusion and wait. And what's going to turn up is a pathway. And I actually like to see it as it actually is the transformation pathway. The 64 is going to show you we're going from here to here to here to here. And it's mental energy, right? And I seem to remember you don't have, so it's not a defined center for you. So it switches on and off and on and off. And, that's not right or wrong, good or bad. So your core talent is actually this ability to go, okay, I'm taking my hands off the wheel. There's all this information coming in, and I know that I can play with my imagination and the pieces are going to find where they fit, and then that's going to turn into the siddhic state or the enlightened energy, which you'll just get flashes of. You've probably had experiences of it, of illumination. So it's like these moments of, whoa, that's how everything fits. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden it'll just close down. It's not something we have all the time. So does that resonate with you?
Every single thing, for whatever reason, has resonated.
Yeah.
And I just went through a lot of program design for the Life Method that we're launching this year and to give a talk at a conference. And I was creating slides and I went from 70 slides and I pushed them all the way down to 30. But the 40 slides that I threw away were for me. They were for my own learning. Mm-hmm. They were for my own healing of the mother wound. They were for my own accepting and loving my father. They were for my own accepting and loving Josh with all of his illnesses in the past and weight gain and sexual stuff and using porn and blah, 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 blah. Just the human condition that I've experienced. But it brought me here. And so it is a gift. And I totally resonate. The clarity that I've received by going through the creation process of being authentic to share something that comes from my heart is the actual potion. It's the elixir itself. It's not the perfect mindset or the top 5 ways you can transform or the, sustainable life transformation that'll always stick in your bones and only 6 weeks and it costs this much. It's all bullshit. It's all mental marketing jargon. You know this. You're in the marketing industry.
100%.
So then the 64, the ways that the 3 and 5 work together in not just myself, but anybody that goes deep into human design, could plant medicine muddle the waters of the clarity that human design brings?
Instinctively, like what I get is a clear no.
Okay.
Because at the end of the day—
Could it elongate the process? Or could it
the
clarify?
ego is going to be in. So here's the thing, right? When we use human design and the gene keys are going to give us the pathway from shadow to gift to siddhic state, right? For each one of what we call the gates in human design. Now, the only thing that's going to elongate any transformation is the ego's insistence of holding on to the shadow, right? That's the only thing. That's the only thing that slows us down. Mm-hmm. I'm going through a situation right now where, God, I wish it happened yesterday. It's going so much slower than I want it to go. But I have this moment of enlightenment, even like 2 weeks ago, I'm like, oh my God, if this had happened 2 years ago or nearly 2 years ago when this all started, I would have given away everything. The person I am today, this person sees the world from, an energetic, mature place, from a more healed place. So all of a sudden I'm like, oh, wow, it's my ego holding on to, I just want this done. It's uncomfortable. I don't want to feel this way. I don't like it. But then what I always do, and again, line 3s, we're very resilient. We are the ones that will turn to the fire because we know I'm going to be sweet. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be challenging, but it's going to work out.
There's a gift at the end.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And as soon as I do that, and I'm like, okay, I'm just in pure acceptance. I can't make this go any faster. What do I need to learn? Show me the things. And every step of the way, I can just feel this evolution. So I don't think you can slow it down. The only way we can slow ourselves down is by identifying with our ego. And again, human design and the gene keys, it's going to show us the shadow, these shadows. For me, a simple example is my advertising career. There's no way I wanted to stick to one thing my entire life. Both my parents had been in advertising. I'd grown up at school. I'm like, there's no way I'm going into advertising. Sure enough, first job I get at a TV network. And there was part of me that was going to force myself into this linear pathway. I'm like, I can't do that. Whereas when we start to see the truth, I love to talk about it as once you know your shadows, they just become indicators. And when that indicator shows up, you go, oh, shit, I've just slipped into the mind. I've slipped into my bad habits. Right, I'm going to shift into these higher, or be okay with being non-linear, or I'm going to, for me, I'm not going to try and blend in. I'm just going to be over enthusiastic because that's who I am and it makes me happy and it seems to make other people happy. So yeah, I reckon that's the beauty because we can see the truth of what's in us and then we have the choice. Do I want to hang on to the shadow or do I want to integrate it?
See, this is experientially learned wisdom that you're sharing. Because it's one thing to hear this on a podcast or to even read it in a book. But, earlier I was like, you have this beautiful gate. It's essentially a huge gate. You're giving people access to a garden of knowledge with your book. It's incredible. And it's a simple gate too.
Yes.
There's not like some 12 key lock pad to get in there. Here's the doorknob, open it up. Once you get into the garden though, you need a guide. And whether it's anything like plant medicine or your work or emotional epigenetics or just any wing of self-discovery, you must, I believe, I'm curious how you feel, you must have a guide that allows you to not get swallowed up by the garden and lost in the ego's attachment to what might be self-righteous or what might be the most safe place for me to be loved and accepted in the public light. So if the book is the gate that opens people up to the world of human design, how would you, from a high level, describe your guidance? What are you really? Are you a steward? Are you a guide?
I love this
question. Because this isn't just about you.
This is not about me at all.
You've harnessed.
This is not about me at all.
It's not about you at all.
All I'm doing is...
a little bit it's about you.
Well, it's a bit about me.
Yeah.
But because I am a personal profile. So it's about my experience, sure. But it's really interesting. One of the things, and it was my tagline for years, do you know, if that's the door, then the whole garden is you becoming your own guide. Because we now live in a world where, we know that people like you and I exist. The people that are listening to this, they're grateful that they have people that they can feel, yep, this is true. But we live in a world where we can no longer differentiate. We don't know we hear what people are saying, but we don't know if it's right, wrong, good, bad, true, false, anything. So it's my belief that when you're in alignment with your design, like one of the most important parts of your design is your authority. And it's your inner authority. So between your strategy and your authority, you're constantly being guided by the universe and by your internal guidance system. And what that does is it helps you with things like, so for me, I have a massive radar. Like you can talk to me all you want, but I can feel incongruence like that. Why? Because I'm authentically me. I'm aligned to my design. I'm not making my decisions. I'm not giving my power away to anyone else to make my decisions. I'm in full responsibility over here. And I've learned, I'm an emotional authority just like you. I'm not, you want a decision now? Too bad. I'm sleeping on it. I'll tell you when I have emotional clarity.
Let me think about it I love that phrase. Let me think about it.
Because we're not designed to make decisions straight away because our solar plexus, and it's playing a massive role in the shift right now as we go into this new paradigm. It's literally teaching humans how to feel and to stop being at the mercy of their emotions, because these unresourceful emotions that we're seeing in the world right now, they are a way that we are disconnected from the subtle feelings of our body and our energetic body. And what human design wants us to do, and even this, what we're calling the mutation of the solar plexus, is getting us to do, is to start to listen, not to indulge emotion, not to repress emotion, but to actually go, okay, that's emotion. And you and I, we're always in an emotional wave. So we're always going to be somewhere in that wave. That is not a mindset fix. Trust me, I tried it. It's really not a mindset fix.
Yeah.
You have to accept that there's going to be lows, and you got to watch that there's no stories attached. So for me now, when I'm in a low, that looks like, and in fact, my whole team know this, the moment, and even when I get picked up from here, I will be in a low because my energy is spent. So literally, Taylor that works with me will make sure that there is no one talking to me. There's nothing for me to do. I can go just chill. I can go sit in the pool, all the things, because that's how we're designed, right? But we're in this time that we have been taught not to listen to ourselves. So what this is all about is starting to learn to listen again, to actually be able to hear it. And I sometimes, and I feel like it's a little bit disrespectful, but I'm going to do it anyway, again. Sometimes I feel like human design is like, self-knowledge for idiots. Like it really is so clear on if we just follow this framework and experiment it just with it, discover what's true for us, not whatever I tell you is this. Like, don't believe me, go and experiment with it and find out for yourself. And then when you live your life from that place, it's mind-blowing. Like things just happen. And you really learn that, your job is just to be you and allow yourself to be guided, to, move from wherever you need to go to wherever you need to be. Like we have these weird concepts that we think we know who we're meant to be and what we're meant to do. And we really don't. We can't see that big picture. But if we have like a vision in our heart, like I've known since I was tiny that I have to have a big impact, that I have to make the world a better place. That's my line 5. Everyone with a line 5 will tell you some version of that story.
Yes.
So yeah, I really feel like the big thing with this book and with this work is it's putting you as the individual in the guru seat. It's taking back your power, and it's also helping you be guided to the right teachers, to the right products. Like, I know what I love biohacking. I'm into all sorts of supplements, and how do I know what's right for me? I'll listen to a bunch of stuff, and then I'm going to listen to my internal guidance system, and it's going to tell me exactly what I need.
Do you ever muscle test when it comes to things like that?
I am absolutely terrible at muscle testing. Okay. I can do it for others, but not for me.
Interesting.
But it was so funny one day when I was yet again going, trying to get it to work. I'm sitting in tea ceremony. I'm obsessed with tea ceremony, by the way. I'm sitting here. It's quiet. It's amazing. I'm completely connected. I'm trying to muscle test. And I just hear, why are you muscle testing? You don't need it. Like that is a way that when you come to this work, you learn to tap into the body. But you're constantly told in every moment you are directed to what is correct for you and what isn't. Why are you bothering with that?
Yes.
And again, it's that whole differentiation. We're all different. We're all designed in different ways to receive. It's our job to learn how to receive.
So you've gotten to a place where you don't necessarily even need the muscle testing.
I use the heart. So ever since I started doing heart coherence meditation, so I do it twice a day. That's what I do. I just put a hand on my heart, and I'll just hear yes, no. Again, you'll probably hear yes, no things as well, being a sacral being.
Yeah.
But especially when I'm traveling, so I know, when you have to eat when you're traveling and you're like, oh, I don't know if that's good or that's bad, I'll have a hand on my heart, and I'll just wait for the yes or no, yes or no, yes or no, and then I'll just pick my food that way.
So you've trained really, because I said mystery and science are here both at the table. Mm-hmm. You've trained your somatic neural system. I don't say the word nervous because I'm a stickler for words, and I think the word nervous actually makes people nervous. Yeah, so you've trained your somatic, your feeling body, your feeling portion of your neural tree to be able to be fully sensitive. And I think sensitivity is actually beautiful here. We were in the car 2 days ago, and I was like, the world doesn't need any more hard, masculine-driven women, and the world definitely doesn't need any emotionally dysregulated men.
100%.
Right? Like we get to rise from these archetypes. These are very old games that we've been playing for a long time. I'm completely done with that game. And when it comes up, I acknowledge it as quickly as I can, and I just move on to the game that I want to play. Yeah. The game, though, that we're playing is that we're a beast in a body, and we're also a spirit inhabiting that body. Mm-hmm. And that's the challenge that we've signed up for. It's not easy. The way that you've attuned and trained your intuition, your somatic intelligence, how has human design helped you train the feeling body or helped you train the somatic neural tree?
So again, I'm going to keep it simple. Human design's taught me to really deeply trust myself.
And then therefore your cells trust. But it's not a mental thing. It started with
oh my
with the
God,
mind.
I tried to force myself to trust myself.
It started with the mind, but then you connected it to your body. How?
So I think a lot of that is through that process of running the experiment. My core talent, I've got the core talent of the 43. The gift is insight. So ever since I've been tiny, I just get these insights and I just know, but I never trusted them.
Yeah.
And I needed so much more. My brain needs so much evidence, so I was conscious all the time at going through my healing journey.
You've always been a skeptic?
Yes and no.
Uh-huh.
So since I was tiny, been really in fact, I didn't really realize until I was probably in my 30s that I was talking to God every day as a kid. I didn't realize. I thought I was just talking to my panda bear. I was just talking to this voice that talks to me all the time. I'm just in conversation. I was so shy. I had the same week I was diagnosed with dyslexia in grade 2, my best friend moved to another city. And I remember I have this visceral feeling, remembering that memory of standing in the corridor at school and going, well, that's it. I'm not going to try anymore. I'm not going to have any friends because I'm dumb. I'm stupid. No one's going to like me. So that's it. Didn't talk to anyone. I went fully internal. And so that whole time I was never lonely because I was always talking to this voice. I just didn't know what it was. But that's my insight. So I think one of the things that human design has helped me do over the years is I've always had these insights and I've always worked in this certain way, especially being an MG, being a manifesting generator and being non-linear. I've had a very successful advertising career. I've been a chef. I've run an equestrian property. I've had a nanny agency, and I thought I was broken because I couldn't find something. I couldn't, pick something and stick to it, Emma. And again, there's all these little places where, again, I'm like, oh, that's how I'm designed to be. Oh, this enthusiasm piece. I remember the first time I walked the Camino, I'm on day 2 or day 3, and all these people are whinging and complaining about their feet and everything hurts. And it's really hard. It's a really tough experience. And I'm bouncing off the walls going oh my God, look at the bird. Oh my God, this is so pretty. And I just noticed I was making people uncomfortable. Again, I'm well, too bad. That's my 16. That's literally what I'm here. It's my inner fulfillment where it sits in my chart. So I'm oh, well, too bad. So there's been all of these micro and some macro moments where it's just given me permission to let go of the fear, the mask, the conditioning, and it gives me that opportunity to just trust myself one step at a time. It's not like diving off a cliff. It's, okay, yet again, it proves to me that this is who I am and it's safe to be me. Okay.
The deep question here, there's so much there, is we all have these, I guess you could say, archetypes. And in all mythologies, there's archetypes. The generator, manifesting generator, projector, reflector, and then there's one more. Manifester. So are there 5 total main archetypes?
So technically there's 4 types and 1 hybrid. We're the hybrid. So we're part generator, part manifester.
Okay, cool. Well, that makes sense because I was born in 1980, which is 1 foot millennial and then 1 foot the other generation. So I know what it's like to have an answering machine and a brick phone, and then I know what it's like to have a phone in my pocket, a rocket ship. That makes total sense that we're in both worlds. Yeah. So if we have these 4 main and 1 hybrid, 5, I guess you could say, archetypes within the human design, there's also the gate. And then I saw in your social post, you said there's a type, strategy, authority, profile, and the incarnation cross. So, but it starts with, does human design start with the top or the typing and then it goes to the other factors?
Yeah. So I always love to talk about, just start with the macro. Okay. Because the micro is awesome. You could dive deep and get lost for years, honestly. But you don't need to. The beauty of it is if you understand your macro, then everything else will actually just fall into line. Again, this was one of the directives of the voice that Ra received. He heard that, maybe 30% of the population wouldn't want to know anything past type, strategy, and authority. Maybe profile. Everyone else, they won't be interested. But if we can just teach them the macro, they don't need anymore, because ultimately if they just follow these things, then they're going to align to all the other nuances of their design. But so we start with type. So the manifestor, they're our initiators. They're our, Ra himself was a manifestor. So they're the ones that start whatever it is, and they're not designed to finish it. They are here to inspire other people into action. Then we have generators, and they're here to build. I love to say they're here to build the new world. They're the ones that when they're lit up, they're the unstoppable force. They're going to do all the doing. They're going to create all the creating. And that energy is literally creating the life force energy of the planet. So you and I are contributing to that. So that's why our life force energy is so important, because there are types that don't have consistent life force energy. Yes, they've got their own, but they don't have this consistent sacral energy. So that's what generators do. They build and they create the life force energy of the planet. Then manifesting generators. So we're part manifestor, part generator. First, we're a generator, which means we're all in response. So this is one of the first places that the masculine is that's not how it works, because masculine energy is let's go, 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 go. What's the goal? Let's go after it. Take massive action. Actually, all generators, it's less than 10% of the global population that are actually meant to initiate anything. Most of us are meant to be in some form of response. And the moment that we actually let something be a response to something else that's external of us, it's like our sacral energy switches on, and then everything becomes 10 times easier. But most of us are operating from the mind. So we do what we think we should do. We initiate what we think we should initiate instead of waiting to be guided to the response. And I always love to use the example of my podcast, because it's this really simple way that it changed my life overnight, where I already had a podcast and I'm literally in the shower when I get all my freaking downloads, and I just hear, you need to change the name of your podcast to the Human Design Podcast. And my ego's like, no, you're not. Who are you? You can't do that. Blah, 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 blah. It's just going for it. And I'm like, all right, I hear you, but that's mental energy. I can't act on it. I can't initiate anything. So, part of me is a bit cocky, like, yeah, I heard it, but I can't do it. Literally the next morning, I'm on the phone to a mentor and he directly says to me, Emma, you should do a podcast on this. And I'm like, shit. Because in that moment, I can feel my sacral go, yes, I got energy for that.
You can't hide anymore.
Yeah. So then we have projectors and they're our guides. So if the manifestors have initiated, inspired people into action, the generators and the manifesting generators, we're building this new world. Then we have projectors that are looking at all of this and going, okay, whoa. If you just do less of this or more of that, they're all about the efficiencies. They can see so deep into the other, they can make you better in whatever way, whatever their nuance is. They're really good at, making things better through efficiency. They're our guides. The challenge is they're here to be seen and recognized, but they've never been taught resourcefully how to get attention effectively. So they can often feel really like, to be around because they're trying to be seen. But the moment they realize their own value, their wisdom is their value, then all of a sudden they start to get invited. And that's what they're looking for. They're looking for an invitation.
Is Luke Story, our mutual friend, is he one of those?
I thought he might
Projector,
be at first,
reflector?
but he's a generator.
He is a generator.
Yeah. But
he told me he likes to be invited to things. I'm like, is that your human design, man?
it's interesting because one thing I remember a couple of his gates and he's got a lot of projected gates. So again, that energy will be like that's in there. But it's not his fundamental type.
Yeah.
And then we have reflectors, and that's only 1% of the global population.
Why is it so slim with the reflectors?
Well, I don't know. We
just the way the math worked out.
Yeah, we just don't have that many. My gut tells me that we have more reflectors and projectors now, that the population is changing.
Okay.
But they're just not that many. It's very, very rare.
And so when you say reflector, are they reflecting the truth for all the other archetypes?
You just nailed it. That's exactly what they do.
I actually didn't know that. That was just a guess.
Yeah, that's exactly what they do. So when you have a reflector in your life, I like to say to people, if you know you have a reflector in your life, what do you think about them? People go, well, I think this person is this, that, and that. Well, by the way, that's you. It's not them, it's you. So if you have a reflector in your life, then you want to really get to know them. Ask them lots of questions. Let them tell you who they are. Don't just assume because you're looking at yourself. Every reflector I've met, I'm like, they're awesome. You're so full of energy. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, oh, because it's me. That energy is me.
Yes.
But one of the stories I love to tell is I recently interviewed this incredible human, Matthew James Bailey, on my podcast. He's a reflector, and I was watching a talk that he was giving at Gaia, and he talks, and he's an AI expert. He's an independent advisor. He's advised governments, the American government. Okay. He has invented stuff for NASA. He's also a spiritual teacher, so he actually thinks very differently to most of that kind of masculine, old school kind of thing. And I'm listening to him speak, and I'm like, God, does this guy know human design? He's literally using the language. He's talking about all of it. In that moment, I'm on Instagram already. Hi, can you come on the podcast? You're amazing. I get him on the podcast, and before I hit record, I'm like, I just have to know, do you know anything about human design already? He said, the only thing I know is that I'm a reflector. And I'm like, shut up. So he's created all of this work, but he's reflecting back what he sees is important. What he wants to emphasize and expand in the world. He's talking human design. He's never learnt it, but they have so much access to energy. It's crazy. So they're incredibly powerful individuals.
If you had to guess, and this is just a guess, this isn't a scientific, I'm going to hold your back against the wall question.
Okay, bring it.
Where do you think that the energy and the intelligence that was downloaded to Alan Robert, or known as Uruhu, the Ra, where do you think it came from, if you had to guess? This intelligence, this knowledge.
Well, it could be anywhere, instantly I'm in this place where I'm like, well, it could be that, it could be that, it could be that. I don't know. Just
being curious and playful. If you were in your somatic system, where might you think it would feel?
All I know is that it comes from a higher consciousness that can see the much bigger picture. And we're talking like thousands of years ahead.
Yes.
And an energy that, again, understands the human condition and the massive transformation that we're in right now. Because and it actually does talk to like how our chakras have changed. It talks to, as I said, this new paradigm, like how the energy is changing. Like we've been in this paradigm and the energy, the cross of planning, which is basically built, corporate. It's built the medical industry. It's built teaching and learning and education. It's built all this infrastructure. And we're about to move into this time where it's so much more about the individual. It's about resources. It's about giving from a full cup. It's about like two of the governing gates that we're going into is the gate of intimacy, the 59, and the gate of abundance, sex and money. Like if they are not two of the biggest energies that are transforming right now, I don't know what is.
Sure.
And it literally says we're moving to a time where all that man, woman, baby stuff is just falling away. And
what do you mean man, woman, baby stuff?
That, that intimacy is a man and a woman, and the intimacy, the purpose of the intimacy is to have a baby. That was our governing energy. That's what we're still technically sitting under until 2027. But that's all falling away. That it's not about procreation anymore. Intimacy, and I've had this conversation over and over and over again, like so many friends are just like, it's always about the person now. Like all of these lines are being blurred. Everything's falling away. And if everyone says about intimacy now, like we used to think intimacy was just sex, and it was like, so we'd always try to refine that. Like, how can I be better at that? How can I experience better than that? But now we're moving to a time that, actually, intimacy is connection. So that could mean anything for anyone. And you can get that from anybody. And so this whole mutation is happening, and who knows what that's going to be? We don't know. So to come back to the original question, I know it is definitely this higher consciousness energy that definitely can see this journey that we're on. And if I'm really trusting my intuition right now, like I'm seeing it's a group of beings. Like it's a group of beings that potentially get how planets evolve, how, I was going to say people, but I suppose it's like any sort of living culture evolves. And really it's helping us with this framework to stop micromanaging everyone and making them be the same and instead start to trust the individual, which is exactly the opposite of what we've been conditioned to believe.
Well, when you're not conditioned, you don't have conditioning to buy stuff to make you feel whole.
100%.
So we're in this really old, you want to talk about decaying paradigm. Holy shit. I like the one that you touched on deserves its own podcast for another one. But the decaying paradigm that I feel is around genetic determinism. So, we're the Smiths, we're born with cancer. We're the Thompsons, we're overweight. We're the Johnsons, we're alcoholics. It's just who we are. But it's literally being spoken through NLP and been hit and processed by the subconscious mind that then ignores any wisdom of human design. Any somatic intelligence is thrown out the window because there's this stamp of genetic determinism.
Yeah.
And so what I believe, and this is my whole work with emotional epigenetics, is your environment may load a gun. Our behavior is what pulls the trigger.
100%.
Our behavior, our beliefs, and really our unconscious beliefs. How does human design start to address for each of the archetypes, but also individually with the gates and the tendencies? How does human design go deep into the psyche of us with essentially the core goal of knowing us more, more wholeness, more love? And how does human design start to suss out gently, or maybe sometimes not, the unconscious beliefs that aren't of service to our somatic intelligence and to just us as a human? How does HD do that?
I love this question. And it's in pure MG style. It's going to be two answers. The first one, and this is like, again, something for you to respond to, I highly recommend you reach out, try and get Richard Rudd on the potty to talk about the gene keys.
Okay.
Because the gene keys literally talk about our DNA and our programming. And I'm not the expert in that, but literally each gene key is associated to a part of the body or an amino acid or something like that. In human design, we call them the gates. So there is this huge body of work that Richard's created that literally will map out the body and really when you work with your gene keys or your gates, this is not just the unconscious mind. This is working at a much deeper level. And there are a lot of correlations, and there is someone I'm looking at doing some work with at the moment to start doing some research around all of this.
Okay.
Because again, how energy flows.
What was the line of work that you're going to partner with him on or her on?
I think what we're going to look at is it's actually with women and their cycle and looking at the centers. So if you have certain centers defined or undefined, but there's so much, like I would love to do so much research into human design and physical, the physical body, the healing capacity.
Yeah.
Because from my own experience, like I'm the daughter of an alcoholic and an anorexic. And I grew up, it was never a thing. Like my dad, who was the alcoholic, high functioning, but like when he had a few drinks, he just came out of his shell. He was lovely. I didn't even understand all of this, that sort of challenge. Then my mum, who was a borderline anorexic and a narcissist, again, like I had this amazing upbringing. And I remember becoming a coach and everyone's going, oh, you've got all this trauma and you've got all this. And I'm like, yeah, I don't kind of see it that way. So human design actually, and I do have trauma, so I did have to wake up to that and there were things that I had to heal. But what human design has really helped me see is my core wound is the shadow of deafness. So I've literally told you how as a whole child I just refused to see the truth. And instead I created this whole life and I'm like, oh, this is lovely. I love my parents. And I do love my parents. They're both gone now. But so again, our human design can start to help us heal our trauma. And transformational human design that I've created, this actually crosses over human design, the gene keys, and transformational coaching. So I've gone into every single gate, every single gene key, and I've pulled out whatever that, the limiting belief is.
And what is the gene key per se?
So the gene key, when we're looking at our chart, you can see on either side and on each center, there's all these numbers, okay? They correlate to the I Ching. The I Ching is the Chinese book of changes. This is ancient wisdom and it's the 64 ways a human can change. Now, they've used that forever. This is the part of it's the part of human design that once you get a taste for it, everyone's like, I want to understand my gates. But this is what it is. It's the I Ching. Now, the gene keys is also the gates, the I Ching, except it's this different body of work where Richard Rudd, who actually worked very early on with Ra, I think he effectively launched human design in the UK for Ra, but very quickly, although they were friends, they got along, Richard was like, I think I'm going to go in this other direction. And he ended up, same sort of deal, downloading all this information on the gene keys. So the way these two things work together, and I love it, I once heard my mentor and Richard on a podcast talk about this. Your human design is like the masculine. It's the structure. It's the muscles. The gene keys is like the feminine. It puts all the movement and the magic and the skin and the elegance into it. So when you learn human design, it feels functional. But when you learn your gene keys, it's written by a poet because at the end of the day, Richard Rudd is a poet. So you can dive down these kind of wormholes and be lost in it and overwhelmed by it. And then for me, I'll just hear one sentence. Like in my core talent, it's you are the creative rebel. And the way he talks about it, I'm like, that is me. Like I don't do rules. Like don't tell me what to do because I'm not doing it. So I really feel like this is how they all work so beautifully together. But to come back to the original question of like, how do we actually use it to heal? Mm-hmm. In every single gate, we have so much information of what is truly ours. So let's say, I'll give you an example in mine. So my personality sun, if you want to know what that is, the top right-hand square is your personality sun, right? And this is kind of like your biggest energy that you put out in the world. It's also called your life's work, right? And I have the gate 37. Now, the 37 is the gate of the family, the gate of friendship. And this is it's about community. It's about taking care of people. It's about being friendly. But the shadow is weakness. And have I learnt and healed so much through understanding that shadow? Because that shadow of weakness is an imbalance of the masculine and the feminine. It's when I believe that I'm weak because I'm feminine or in my feminine. So I've spent so many years just living in my masculine, building a business. Even, so much of my relationship, I was the masculine role, while also raising the kids, being the feminine role. So understanding this weakness and that the gift is equality, like that my greatest desire on earth is I just want everyone to get along. Like simply put, I just want everyone to get along, We don't have to like each other. We don't have to be the same. I just want us all to get along.
Just be nice.
So then when we start to play with our design, we can see, like honestly, the deep, dark stuff. And we can see it play out in real time. And it gives us an opportunity, once we bring the truth to the shadow, then I had to tell the truth about my parents. I had to tell the truth about some things that I didn't want to tell the truth because I just wanted to have what I wanted to have. And, well, if I I can put up with that. But like the universe, God is saying, no, that's not the point. You're meant to live. I'm driven by my greatness. What is my greatness? What is my potential? I want to know my greatest potential. It's another line 5 thing. That's not my greatness, is it? Mm-hmm. So again, like I've used it and there's so many, like with my attraction, there's like your design moon. This is how you attract others into your life. And I've got the shadow of immaturity. And I'm like slapping my forehead like, okay, so either I'm being immature or the person that I'm with is being immature. So I know I'm in my conditioning, I'm in my mind. So once we start to play with our design, like literally it's mapped out. The things that get in our way, they're mapped out in front of us.
I love that you said, I just want people to get along. Because when I was the youngest memory I've ever known, I said, how do I live my life well? Why are these adults angry with each other? What are taxes? What is this craziness all about? First memory I ever really had. Why is mom sick? Why is dad gone? What is this all about? This life that I signed up for. Yeah. I can reflect on it now at 45 and know that when I was, 3 or 4 or 5, whenever I had that memory, that young version of Josh was so wise because he hadn't been conditioned yet. We live in a big conditioned cosmic soup here that likes us to forget our human design. It likes us to forget that we're a daughter and a son and a child of God, of our creator. And the part that's so tragic for me is that I, in my own way, through my own acceptance of conditioning, have become part of the energy that makes people not get along. And so is yours. And like learning how to be unconditionally loving is so hard at times because it's the ultimate nirvanic state. I mean, once you and I get to a space, if we ever do, and I don't know if I ever will, and I'm not attached to me ever getting there, but the percent of the percent of the percent of the percent of people that are actually gurus that really achieve nirvana and that can love unconditionally like the Buddha did, even when he knew that he was going to be poisoned by the rice. He still took it because it was an act of generosity from this woman. It's not that we're all going to get there, but I think that's a beautiful North Star. I think that's a great guidepost. Yeah. I understand your guidepost because you just said it so wonderfully. What do you think the originator of human design and even Rudd and all these different frameworks, astrology and healers, aren't they all doing the same thing? Aren't we all doing the same thing with our unique lens of information, knowledge, and wisdom? At the end of the thing is always get along, love yourself, and learn how to love others. Isn't that really what we're doing here?
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And I love all of that. I think, the voice was very clear when it was, talking to Ra. It's like, this isn't for the adults now. Like, they're going to love it, but it's for the kids. And the reason why it's for the kids is because if we raise our children in alignment with their design, they don't get conditioned.
Yes.
They trust themselves. They love themselves. They don't put masks on. They don't shift themselves, make themselves small, make themselves bigger, because that's what we do. Like when we're babies, we want love, we want to be protected, and we want to be, we want to belong. So every choice we make is to make sure those three things are covered. And unfortunately, the world we live in, we have been taught that we have to change ourselves to be that. But if we have our kids and we have their design, like we don't do that. We don't make them change. We don't force them to be something that they're not. So they don't get the conditioning in the first place. So I really think that all of this work is about never teaching us that we're not perfect. Like we're perfect just as we are. Even if we, burn down a house, whatever. Oops, I did that. I made a mistake. Maybe I really did it accidentally. Maybe I was having a bad day. But we are so attached to good, bad, right, and wrong. You're a good person. You're a bad person. You're just a person. You're a person making choices. Now, Can we be, better at making choices that take care of everyone else? Yeah, let's do that. Let's make more choices that support everyone. But if we actually start from a place of, I don't need to change to get loved. I don't need to change to belong. I don't need to change to be taken care of. I can just be me. Then that's where the fundamental change happens. That's where, I love to think about, and, this might be pie in the sky stuff, but I love to think about a world where imagine that we just go out every day and do what we love and we just give it away for free. We don't need money. We don't need anything because we all do what we want to do because it's fun and we love it and we enjoy it and we know that we want to give service to the people that we live with and, the people of the planet. So we're doing our part and we just live, And I think that comes from a place of not making ourselves wrong at the get-go. And that's where I think our biggest challenge is. And that's how, as you say, all the freaking modalities, it's all of them are just teaching us, let's not make ourselves wrong. Let's learn to love ourselves as we are and imagine how different life would be if we just accepted, loved ourselves just as we are.
It's easy to forget that there's, I think, 9 billion people on the planet now. Is that
crazy.
Correct? It's 8 or 9 billion people. And even if it's 8 or 10 or whatever, lots of billions. Every person is born with a unique thumbprint. And I find this so fascinating. So cool. No thumbprint on earth out of all these billions of people is the same. Same thing with the way that your biochemical individuality, the way that your neural tree works. Same thing with the way that human design may resonate with a billion people. Great. Because it's going to teach them how to love. Good.
Yeah.
And then another billion people might resonate with astrology. Good.
Exactly.
It's all good.
Exactly.
We're all doing the same thing. So trust your intuition when you're listening. Part of what I do is I'm a space holder and a storyteller. That's what a podcaster is, right? We just hold space. Somebody shows up as who they are, and then the audience decides. I don't decide for y'all. Y'all decide. And so if you're interested in this garden, it's on the screen right now, joshtrent.com/human design. That's where people can start going into your work, being led through the garden so they don't get lost, so they don't have like a Venus flytrap come and take their leg off. And then they get accosted by some spiritual person that's saying, it's okay to sleep with your wife.
Oh, God.
Right?
I mean, a lot of them right now.
Come on, y'all. So where do we go from here with the evolution of humanity, and how does human design plug into this evolution? Because in the word evolution is love. It's so beautiful. I'm like,
I love that.
Etymology is so, I love it. I could just sit, if I wasn't providing for my family, all I would do is just study words and poetry and like educate myself. So how does it plug in? Because it feels like it's a grid of electricity, a grid of knowledge that can move the human being to a higher frequency, to a higher vibrational state. What does that fuel source look like in 5-10 years, human design?
Well, ultimately it would get to at the moment we're here, trying to share it with as many people and hope that people pick it up.
Yeah.
My long-term vision is that it just becomes a stock standard. Our mission as a business is to take human design mainstream. We're not attached to how that happens. Like we've had a little side business, like accidentally almost, like so in alignment crop up, if you like, just by playing with human design. And I don't know if you've ever seen the Monday option on ChatGPT, the like sassy kind of sarcastic.
No, I haven't. That's cool.
It's hilarious.
I'll check that out.
And one Sunday morning, Taylor and I were I actually discovered it and I was having this conversation with Monday, and Monday's like kicking my ass and I'm laughing so hard. I tell Taylor all about it. We start laughing together and like, what would happen if we put human design through this?
Oh.
So we did that. And within minutes, this, Taylor, who's my marketing director, she is also a 5'1" MG, freaking powerhouse. She's got something posted and all of a sudden it goes viral. And we're like, oh my God, we're just having some fun. So this is how once human design gets integrated, we're going to stop trying to think our way to things. One of the things that I talk a lot about is what I'm seeing is that we are moving from thinking doers to feeling beers. We're in this really like crazy space, like think and grow rich. Like, yeah, that was awesome, but that's not now. Now is actually we need to learn to be, to receive. Feeling is this new currency almost that's showing up. So we so need to learn to get out of this and into this. Like getting into our body is possibly the most important thing we can do right now to align. So ultimately, I think the biggest thing I would love to see is that by the time my kids have kids, that they go to school, their kids go to school with their human design. So all of a sudden, everything is designed for these little people to be themselves, their authentic selves from the word go. We're not telling them who to be. We're not telling them whatever. Like I've raised both my kids with their design. And one of my kids, like he's a kid that if I listen to other people, they might say, hey, you need to this and you need to that. And maybe you need to get him checked out for this and that. And I'm like, nope, he's a manifesting generator. He's aligned to. He's got a defined will center. He's also a boy at 13, so he's got all the testosterone boost. All the things are going on. So I'm not shaming him. I'm not trying to change him. I'm like, this kid, watch out. He's going to be extraordinary, especially because no one tried to shut him down when he wasn't conforming to what everyone else thinks he should conform to. Mm-hmm. And instead, I just have to be, the powerhouse mum that holds that energy and holds that boundary and all of those things so that he can be this strong, willful, determined kid, fall down, make mistakes, just blow stuff up, hopefully not really, and then become the man he was meant to become. Why? Because I can see his blueprint. Mm-hmm. So I know not to interfere with that determination of his. I know not to try and shut down that willpower of his. I know that the most important thing is he's got to trust his gut, So what does that look like? If we're aligned to our design, we're not learning our design. This is a world of like you're born with it. This is what you need to know. Your parents know and they teach you. And it goes back to, like I've just had this image of, in the Indigenous Australians, and they call their song lines. So they passed all of the Indigenous knowledge down through the song lines, through story. And ultimately, I would love to see human design something like that because we're actually teaching, holding space, reflecting back the truth of these little beings and not trying to make them be anyone that they're not, actually just empowering them to make decisions. Because, I look at my 18-year-old who's, of course, been through all of this other stuff, and he's like 18. He's got his investing app on. He's starting to he's climbing mountains. He's planning his life. He's doing all of these things. Why? Because he's been taught to trust himself. Trust his own decisions, show up in life the way he's designed to. Like this kid, people would have had me diagnose him with dyslexia. Like the kid's definitely dyslexic. He knows he's dyslexic. He also gets the most incredible marks now because he became intrinsically motivated. He decided, okay, right, Mum, how do I learn best? And I helped him through his design. He's also this thing called a quad right. So he learns very differently. It's all about being present and receptive. So he's just integrated all these things that he's learned about himself, even relationships. He's a line 4. And he kept getting into having a girlfriend and then going, God, I don't want to be in this relationship. And I just said to him one day, I'm like, okay, dude, take it or leave it. You're a line 4. So friendship often comes first. I'll just put it on the table, do what you want with it. It's up to you. The girl he's been with now, this divine creature, sure enough, they were friends for a really long time before they ever got together. And he's like, shit, Mum, this is brilliant. And he's like, I always knew that, Mum. I always knew that. But, when you said it, it was like, yes, that's correct. So here are these kids and this young man that's going out into the world, and he's not going to let people force him to be someone he's not, or change him, or make him smaller, or be offended what anyone else thinks of him. And it's not because I've taught him to have a good mindset. It's because I've just helped him be more him and have faith and trust in that.
Have you ever found that anyone, your children, yourself, or clients, has not been aligned to their human design?
Oh, so often we're not. We're like so in our shadow. Me, like when I first came to my design, I was in every shadow, every single shadow.
But have you ever found that once somebody is having the life they want, having the results they want, let's just to play the advocate side. No, so you found that when somebody's really emotionally, spiritually, financially, mentally, everything about their being is balanced and in harmony, that you can find that they are aligned with their design.
Yeah. So when you're obsessed with this, one of the things you can't help yourself but do is like every speaker I listen to.
You'll pull up their human design.
Pull up their human design.
But how do you have to find out when they were born though, right?
So often that information's out there. Like someone's already run their chart.
Like
the software I use has most of them in there.
Interesting.
You can find it. And like one of my favorites, and it's really interesting because I'm not necessarily a fan, but one of the types that gets kind of a bit of a bad rap sometimes is projectors. That there's this whole story of them being a little bit wishy-washy. They don't have enough energy. They don't, they're a bit standoffish and rah, rah, rah. And I don't like that people tell them that they sound a bit wet and powerless. So I always use the example of Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift is a freaking projector. There's nothing you can't do. And yep, that is what a projector is like, because love her or hate her, this woman has changed the music industry. That's what projectors do. They're like, I'm going to look at your system and I'm going to improve it, whether you like it or not. And, Swifties, she's invited in. So this is this huge power because she's invited in. Yet everyone else that isn't, she has no power over us, and she doesn't care. She's like, I don't care. If you don't like me, I don't care. That's an in-alignment projector. So I really think in everyone that I've interviewed, like Bruce Lipton, he's so in alignment with his design. When you see these people that are really acing it in life, it's because they're not trying to be something they're not. And that's ultimately what human design is all about. I know that's been my biggest lesson, is the moment I try to be someone I am not, it doesn't work. Life doesn't work. Business doesn't work. Parenting doesn't work. So why not just accept who I am and learn, instead of my practicing being a better blah, blah by someone else's standards, why don't I just practice being a better me? And recently I've got to this place where I used to be a voracious learner, listen to everything, read everything, do everything. And I'm now in this place where I sit in silence and drink tea in the morning and at night, and I go to tea ceremony every day, sometimes twice a day. I'm just building more and more silence and stillness. And because I'm so in alignment with my design, just magical stuff just shows up. Like
what? What's the most magical thing?
Well, I always tell the story of my book. I declared on my podcast maybe 2 years ago, I think I'm going to write a book. A couple of months later, a friend of mine was approached by a book agent to write a human design book. And she said, I don't want to do it. But what about Emma? I said to her, why aren't you doing it? You should just take the opportunity. She's like, no, I'm not ready. So the book agent happened to be in London. I happened to be walking the Camino at that time. So I was like, cool, I'm in Spain. I'll swing past London. Let's meet. And she's like, I'll see if I can get some publishers just in case it all, goes in that direction. We meet. She's like, yep, great. Sign here. Got myself an agent. 2 days later, I meet with a bunch of publishers, but 2 days later I meet with a publisher and imprint at Penguin. She signs me. We get this book deal. While I was walking the Camino, I had to submit, I needed to give them a chapter, right? I haven't written anything yet. So I get this amazing ghostwriter who goes into because I've got this community called HDX. So it's years of learning and teaching. So my experiment, all my clients' experiments, all the classes I've taught. And I'm like, Chelsea, can you just go in there, into type, get all that information, give it a bit of a neaten up, send it to me. I'm literally on the Camino editing with my phone. We send that off and the publisher's like, I love it. So we get home, signed with a publisher. Then I'm like, because I'm dyslexic, I'm like, all right, shit, now I've got to bring all this together. This is going to take me forever. Nope, I got Chelsea. Chelsea, can you go through all my content? And this is thousands of hours of stuff. There's so much, probably not thousands of hours, but hundreds of hours. And she brings it all. We have a plan. She dumps it all in. She tidies it all up. Then I go through everything and edit everything. I have my book. we're hitting deadlines. Everything's happening. It's beautiful. It comes out. Even to the point where when I had to record the audiobook. So again, I'm dyslexic. If the most intimidating thing to ask me to do is to sit in a booth, read a book out loud while someone's watching you. It's like, okay, this doesn't get worse than this. Uh-huh. And the sound guy is like the nicest guy I've ever met. And he's like just walking me through everything. Like it couldn't have been easier. Like it was fine. Then in this whole thing, I'm like, we didn't have an American publisher. And I've got a really good friend at home who's a big publisher. And she's like, you need to do this and you need to do that. So part of my ego is freaking out. I'm like, nope, I'm just going to stay in my alignment. I'm going to wait for something to respond to. Sure enough, before we know it, one of the imprints at Penguin here in the US reaches out. And they've actually got another leading voice in this space. They've already got that person's book and they get my book and they're like, nope, we want this one. We're taking yours. And so every step of the way, and I wanted to launch the US book when we launched it in the UK and Australia, But the crazy thing was we found a mistake. And I'm like, oh my God, of course we did. Line 3, we make mistakes. That's what we do. And so it went out to the UK and it went out to Australia. The first print had a mistake in it. Now, it's not a terrible mistake. It's fine. Everything's, it doesn't change the content.
Do you have a perfectionist line in your gates?
I don't, thank God.
Okay, good.
So I made peace with it really quickly and it's my design. So I'm like, I'm a line 3. I'm not going to beat myself up for that. That's what happens.
Yeah.
But the whole US, they're like, we love this so much. We want to give it so much energy. So we're going to postpone it. I'm like, brilliant. No mistake in this book because we had time to fix it.
Yeah. It sounds like flow.
Exactly. And that's what being in alignment with your design is all about.
It creates the ultimate sense and essence of flow.
Yeah.
Which is what we all want.
Exactly.
Well, listen, y'all, go down whatever lane feels right. I'll say that. If it is human design, go for it. I love this. I'm so fascinated by all of these things. Human design and astrology and gene keys. There's so much to learn. There's so much cool stuff to learn. I'm
really
like,
is.
Give me all of it and let me synthesize it for myself and know my own truth.
Yeah.
Because whether you go from A to Z with your work, and it's on the screen now, joshtrent.com/human design. It's a place where you can start to go into the garden and be led by Emma and her team. It's so cool that you have that community, because there's this online aspect to our life now. And it's kind of weird because like I said, I was born in 80 and I know what it's like to go home and check an answering machine on my bike.
Yeah.
But I also know what it's like to have a community in my pocket. I have a community as well, the Liberated Life Tribe. And all of us, we just need each other. For Christ's sake, we need each other so deeply. And online is a beautiful thing to spark a future in person. Do you have in-persons?
Yeah. So we actually do a lot of retreats. We're actually going to start HDX Live events. We're going to start here in the US.
Where in the US?
We're not sure. Probably here in Austin.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Do it here so I can come.
Okay, done. Because,
do it.
I actually have some of my closest friends have come through my own community, come on retreat. Yeah, it's so cool.
Well, I really appreciate you being here.
Thank
and it's so fun to talk to you about a subject that can be pretty deep and kind of heavy for most. I love your playfulness around it.
Thank you.
So cool. That's the medicine we need on earth right now.
Yeah, I agree.
So y'all, it's on the screen. Emma, thank you for being here, sharing your gifts, going through everything you got to go through to have this book birthed in flow state. Yeah. What did we not cover? What did we miss about the ultimate power and really the grace, the ease, the simplicity of a framework that can allow you to be aligned with yourself? Do we miss anything big?
Well, I don't think we missed it. But the one thing I want to say and respond to that, because you even said the word, and this is a large part of my purpose, is really to understand that the power that you're looking for is in you. This is a time of self-empowerment. This is the time for you to understand that all the answers you're looking for are in you. And they're being delivered in your heart, in your soul, in your design. And ultimately, we have to stop giving our power away. And even, I would say, don't give your power away to human design. All you got to do is run the experiment. Don't give your power away out there, because we need every individual in their heart being their authentic self, because that's, this massive transformation we're going through on planet Earth. That's exactly what we need to get us to where we're going. You're so fun. And you take things that are really complicated and break them down. That's the true mark of an educator, of an elder, of a teacher. Y'all, share this podcast with somebody who has been so lost and is trying to figure out what their life is all about. The answer is right here. And if it's not here, this will lead them to wherever it is. So head over to the show notes page, share this podcast. It's worthy of sharing. That's the whole point of Wellness and Wisdom, is to gather, apply, and then embody all the information that's out there. This podcast is so life-changing. It'll literally change your life if you breathe into it and allow it to change you. But if you just listen and turn this off, it ain't going to do shit. I love that you just said that, because it's literally what I bang on about all the time. I love it. Put it to work, y'all. You get to put it to work. Now, from my heart to yours, until we see you on another podcast, I'm wishing you love, wellness, but most importantly, peace and power. You cannot have power unless it comes from peace. We'll talk with you soon.